Come on, show him. Give him a little pump. Little pumpy pump, dude. Come on. Oh, dude, you just smashed your head. Let me see. Yeah, it works. Are you trying to keep your feetsies nice and cool?
Keep my feetsies cool.
Keep your feetsies cool?
And the brake lines that go right here.
Yeah.
So I probably should do some more up there too if I have extra.
Yeah. Looks good. Nice. Just a little bit of reflective tape underneath to help with the heat control. I need that bad on my car. Yeah, my shoes melt.
You need a foot box.
I kind of need a new car. Oh my god, dude, look at that gaping hole.
It's not the only one.
Look at that other one.
Whoa, dude.
Alright, mark it off the wrist. Wrist? Mark it off the list.
Would you say talk about the what?
Shout out to Drivelines Northwest. Best to ever do it.
Yeah, they didn't give me any money. Don't say their name.
Oh yeah. You mean you don't have enough bolts for the other side?
I just might need to get some more.
Air deflector panels going in. All right. You look tired. So per FD rules, you have to have a working third brake light. And there it is.
As long as I hold it.
As long as you hold it, right?
One hand on the wheel, one hand on my wire.
On your wire, just like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
I'll give him the old fakie, like I'll be on the 5/8 and I'll just be doing this. Just hold it the whole time.
Hey, wait, that's how I run the 5/8.
Oh.
So, of course, all the wiring's completely done. Everything's all loomed up, super nice, completely done, finalized, and we forgot about the third brake light. Carlton texted me the other day, he's like, I think we're supposed to have a third brake light. We both checked the rules and we're like, yeah, you're supposed to have a third brake light. So, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you forget some things, but at least I had one of these black ones laying around and they look decent, so.
Now I can't get this wire up there.
Now the fun part.
I can't.
Wiring into a car that's already wired.
Yeah. Oh, it's all the way up here.
But it looks like you're having fun, so it's okay.
I'm always having fun.
Yeah. You gonna tell everybody what you just did?
No.
Big moment, dude. Big moment. Hey, you guys, he teared up a little bit.
Yeah, it's been bawling my eyes out. We put motor oil into the motor.
Motor oil and motor.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
My first oil change ever.
Ever.
I usually never do them. I usually just take them somewhere.
Could you imagine taking your fully built race car to a Jiffy Lube?
Dude.
Should do it.
Funny.
Should do it. So he painted the bottom of this with matte black. However, it's a little shiny for some reason.
Yeah.
I think it just needs to dry. You can see it on the camera too. I think it just needs to dry, dude.
It's like a magic up and down. These patterns, they envelop me. Distortion.
There it is. All painted up.
It looks better, but not.
Looks better. That's for sure.
I couldn't get that stuff.
Yeah, because it's inside the crackler. You're not gonna be able to really see that anyways. So from here it looks good. Look at the camera. Look. See? Can't tell. If the camera can't see it, no one can, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Shut her down. Let's see what it looks like. Fully finished. Woo! Let's do a little upskirt shot.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Looks good, dude. Nice job.
Yeah, so today, you guys already saw, I got the hood done, and then Steve came out, my uncle Steve came over, and we got the rest of the front assembly. The only thing is I'm waiting for some water pump bolts. I got to get a stud for this side because you can't get a bolt on with the pulley, and then I need a shorter bolt for this side here. And then once I have that, I can loosen everything up, seal up the water pump for real with the gasket, because right now it doesn't have the gasket in it, and that'll be 100% done. And then other than that, we did all the wiring. So we got our ignition coil to the MSD wired in, and then the tack wired in as well. And we did the beginning of the starter. So we got the signal wire for the starter from the relay ran into the starter, and then we measured for the starter wire itself, but we're gonna have that made, and then that'll all be ready to go. So pretty much after that, we're just waiting for the headers, and once we get the headers, then we put them back in, put the exhaust in, button up everything else on the top of the motor, spark plugs, and then tighten all of our AN lines, get all those situated, tighten the AN lines, and figure out carb gaskets. Then other than that, we will pretty much be ready to fire the car. We'll put fluids in, we'll get some pressure going in the water system, run the pump through it, and bleed it off and check for leaks. And then we'll do the same thing with the fuel system, get some fuel in the actual fuel cell, run the fuel system, the fuel pump for a little while, check for any leaks, make sure we're good, make sure the carb bowl, the float bowls fill up. And then we already got oil in the motor. Other than that, we got to do trans fluid and diff fluid, and that's not necessarily important for firing it up, but once we have that, then we'll be able to start the motor. All right, you guys, so we have been pounding away, chopping away, working away at getting this motor ready for technically this Friday, and today's Tuesday. We're super close. So yesterday I got the water pump all on, all torqued down, 100% ready to go. I got to work on getting this on completely torqued in, the drive hub. And then I just got my new carb studs, so we're going to put new carb studs and the carb gasket on. And I have to finish up some wiring. Gonna add one of these junction posts and some few other things before we tighten all the AN lines and fill it with water, and probably pressure test the water system. So we are getting super close. We only have a few days. Today the headers were supposed to get done, getting ceramic coated, but it turned out that they're not going to be done till tomorrow, which pushes us to Wednesday to fire it up. But hopefully tomorrow we will be able to fire this thing up, hear it run for the first time in the car, and then after that it'll be all suspension tuning, setting up the suspension on baseline setup, and getting the windshield in, and then hopefully taking it out for the first rip on Friday. So we're getting there, and it's supposed to rain Friday too, naturally, so fingers crossed that maybe that changes, but it's doubtful because we live in Washington, so we're getting super close. A bunch of little things to get done before getting the headers on and starting the motor. So that's what I'm working on today, is getting small stuff done. And then probably putting some fluids in the car. And yeah. So here we go. All right, so got everything tied up here. Fuel lines are all tight on the carb. Carb's tightened down. It's got the gasket in it, and we got the air filter gasket as well. Tighten the stud for the air cleaner, and then I tied up the rest of the wiring in front for the ignition coil and the wiring for the MST, the distributor. So everything up here is good for now until we need to tighten up the overflow lines and the coolant lines. All the fuel lines are tied up here. So now I'm moving on to getting the junction post in to pull off the relay, and then tie everything up inside on the wiring and finish it off. All right, you guys, so I got the wiring all done inside. I got my junction post in, and I cleaned up the wiring from the MSD and the starter. So the only thing we need left on the wiring is the main starter power wire, and we're gonna have that tomorrow. So the next thing we were gonna do was get the throttle cable in, and unfortunately our throttle cable is wrong. This clevis doesn't fit on the Willwood adapter, so and it's like 400 thou difference, and it's too long. So we are going to work on trying to figure out what we can do. Tori's inside right now checking, see what he can find and what he can figure out. So hopefully we're able to get something. There's not a lot of time, but it happens. Stuff like that happens. We didn't know. Nobody knew. So yeah, just gonna keep chipping away, and I am going to probably work on a few small things right now and get the AN lines tightened up in the rear. Get all those tightened to make sure everything's good and ready to go.
I'm ready. Oh, sucked her down. Turn it off for a second. Straight up sucked her down, dude. Okay, go ahead and toss her on. Okay, go ahead and run the wheel back and forth. That's really weird.
That's not good.
What the hell is going on? It foamed all the way up to the top, too. Well, trying to put fluids in the car and we got our first issue, so don't know why that foamed all the way up to the top, too. All right, headers are back. Gooped up. What are we thinking, buddy? Nice and goopy?
Nice and goofy.
Okay. Steve's tightening up this side. Looking good.
Last one. There you go.
Last one.
So we have to do the reflectors. I think the black actually turned out pretty good.
Black did turn out good.
It's pretty sick.
I think it looks great.
I remember how I did this.
Belts all on. After the headers go in, re-tighten up all the lines, go back through, tighten all the ANs. I'm actually, if I can, I'm going to do the rears right now. I probably should, huh, buddy?
Please hold.
Please hold. He's concentrating. So while they finish that, I'm going to run back here and I'm going to check all the AN lines back here. Make sure every single one is tight up to the bulkhead. And then that will be good for these ones back here. check the ones in the car, and then we'll check the fronts once we get those on. So, getting real close. Need to do that, and then Carlton's got to do the starter wire. It needs water in it still, and it needs fuel.
Dad wants me to do an update on the car, so I don't know what the last thing you talked about though.
I was showing your headers getting goofed up.
Oh, the headers are in, and I can't show you because he had to hand me the camera while I'm in the car. And right now we're working on getting the starter wire in. Uncle Steve's cutting the grommet, and then I'm gonna put it through, and that is the last bit of wiring, right?
Last bit.
Last bit. Starter wire's in, headers are done, and we got the full exhaust system in.
Maybe later tonight or
All the way back.
tomorrow.
Everything clears, drive shaft clears, everything mounted back up, looks good. Got the headers in, and yeah. So we're getting super close. We're hoping tomorrow we will fire her up. Tomorrow, the original glass is going to go back in the car. Why the original glass and not just get a new windshield after all of this, putting all this new stuff on the car? And the reason is because I was told that you can't get the Ford Mustang logo aftermarket on these windshields. So I did my best when we removed this to try and keep it, and it's not in the best shape obviously, but I've cleaned it up. The trim is okay. Could be a little bit better. It's a little dirty in spots, but that was the big reason for keeping this stock glass. Was I really wanted to kind of like top the whole build off with having the Mustang. So glass goes in tomorrow. Got a guy coming over to do that early in the morning, and then we should be firing this thing up for the very first time in the car. All said and done, tomorrow it should be running. I don't think I'm gonna sleep tonight, but tomorrow it should fire up for the first time.
Alrighty, so we thought we had fixed the power steering pump yesterday. We had some leaks coming from the fittings that go into the power steering cooler, so we thought that the pump was maybe drawing some air, making it sound like that. Got those sealed up yesterday, went to run it again today, and sounds the same. So we are thinking that we have a bad pump. I have a spare upstairs. I actually have two spares upstairs. We are gonna rip one of those and toss it in and see if it sounds the same or sounds better. Should sound better. Everything up here is done. Spark plug wires are on. We have to mess with some throttle cable stuff, so not much to do up here. Carlton's buttoning up the battery box right now. Did you show him your windshield yet?
No,
Not yet.
not in.
Check it out. Windshield is in. Pretty exciting. Dude came today. Got them all hooked up. So got to put the A pillar, B pillar on. Got the funnel ready for the water. Small other couple tiny little things that we keep finding. And this thing's going to fire up today. Today. We didn't quite make it last night because we just got tied up on some things. But 100% it is running today. Exciting. Alrighty. Exciting times, buddy.
Yep.
Water's going in.
The only ones I'm really worried about are the ones on the inside.
Well, you can look in there. I'll look up here. How about that? I helped tighten all these ones up here, so I'll watch up here. Because I don't think these ones are going
You
to
better
leak.
get me in here because I'm here to make sure everything,
Right? There he is.
I make sure everything's right.
Pops is here. Double checking. All right, here we go.
Gonna kick out a 10.5 baby or what?
10.5 pounder. We'll see.
Okay. Ready?
So we got fuel in the car, and when we were filling it up, the vent line necks down. It goes from a Dash 6 like my car, and necks down to a cool, nice little Dash 4 technically radiator overflow fitting, and it's too low, so it was not allowing the fuel to go in there. So we're gonna have to change that. That's one thing we gotta change. That's no big deal though. That's simple. So does that fitting look good down there, buddy? Because I said that I could reach it, but I couldn't reach my hand back there when I tried. Small little leak on the fuel log. Steve's tightening that up, and then we're gonna get some fuel pressure going again.
Keep going.
Let's, you ready to fire? Go ahead and start cranking it and then hit the button.
Should it maintain oil pressure or should it drop?
No, it's
It'll
gonna drop.
as soon as
It's gonna
you-
drop
Yeah.
as soon as you quit cranking.
Ignition on?
No, start cranking first and then hit the ignition.
Water temp started to rise.
So we got to get the air out of the system because I can tell the motor's not quite ready.
Oh yeah, buddy. It sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
Dude, that was one thing we didn't know about. It sounds so good. Yeah, dude, that exhaust sounds good. You shaking? You excited or what, dude? It capped right off. Hell yeah. It's awesome. Take a sip afterwards to break in, you know. You're first. Okay.
How do we know it has all the water in it?
About to go down on scales. Steve, what's your guess?
28.95.
Carlton?
What's your story?
I asked you first.
I'll go 29, 26.
I already wrote mine before he did his.
What is it?
29.30. And yes, the camera saw it. I wrote mine before you said yours. So there's no.
Earlier I said 29.50, but I'm thinking that, you know, I don't know.
This is without him in
I
it.
don't eat for a little while.
This is without Carlton in it.
Okay, it's 0.
Should be that bottom number right there.
Are we gonna roll it over?
Is it in gear?
No.
Put it in gear. Good call.
I'm just gonna shift the weight. Should be off.
29.05, we're gonna say.
I was close.
Carlton went.
close.
Oh, were you?
I said 28.95.
Oh, yep. Well, wait, no, you're even closer. 2,900.
Look at that.
That's a good on the dot
Sitting
number
on the
too.
springs.
That's what I was aiming for.
Yeah, because you weigh what, like 310?
Yeah, something
So
like
yeah, 2210. That won't
It's
be
still
bad.
going down. 28.94.
Oh, dude.
There's the reference point.
So we don't have all the fuel in it, and we had to make up some weight for the fuel. So got the
here.
water jug in there and a CO2 canister to make up the 43 pounds for the weight, A pillars, B pillars, and the harnesses. So now we're gonna mess with the front end and get the ride heights correct, and start messing with some springs and get this thing cross balanced and get it ready to go. Hopefully, still planning on making it tomorrow. Hey, new development, everybody. One of the arms was on the car still. What happened, Steve? Where are you going?
You win.
Ah! 29-39. Woo! I'm way overly excited for this. I don't know why, but
All right. So I know Tori was filming while we were getting the car fired up and everything, and didn't really get a chance to talk. So thought I would do a little update. So obviously you saw we got it to fire. Unfortunately, we lifted the car back up, and the transmission has a really bad leak in one of the seals. So what that means for us is we are going to have to pull it all back apart. Exhaust. Unfortunately, headers have to come off to drop the trans, which is something we're going to change as we move on. We're going to have to change that because we need to be able to pull the transmission faster, just in case stuff like this happens and we were at a competition or something like that. So that was with building the first set of headers. We'll figure that out down the road. But so as of right now, we are not going to take the car out for tomorrow for the track day. And the reason for that is there's just a lot to do to really get the car set exactly how we want it and exactly what it needs to be to go out and shake it down. We could Rambo some stuff together and probably make it, but at this point we know we have quite a few things we need to do. It's better to do them now. I'm not super rushed. I'm not super worried about it missing tomorrow, and because we have another track day at the end of the month, so that's off the table. We're not doing that. But the other thing I wanted to talk about was, obviously you guys probably saw when we were firing it up, I was very straight-faced, not a ton of excitement. But that doesn't mean I'm not super excited. I'm like, I can't even explain to you guys, after over a year, we didn't expect it to take this long. None of us expected it to take this long. But hearing it fire up for the first time in the car is just like, you can't even explain it. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot more work to do before everything's dialed in. We got a lot of testing we got to do before any competing. But I got to just say to everybody that's helped me, everybody that's watched, supported, I'm really thankful for everyone. I'm really thankful for Tori, Kayla, really thankful for my parents for supporting me on everything that I do. And it's a pretty big moment. And big thank you to my Uncle Steve. He's been out here grinding with me to get it done. So it's been crazy. But yeah, and everybody else, all my buddies, my buddy Trevor, you guys have seen him before. He's here always working on the car.